Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of June 2nd, 2024. There is still time to join today's New Moon in Gemini workshop titled Birth of Venus. I will talk about the astrology, highlighting how Jupiter and Gemini may show up in our own lives as well as the collective. And I will do as many hot take natal chart readings as I can. You'll also learn all about Venus Cazimi. So you can go to the link in the show notes or astrologybyceleste.com to sign up now. If you can't make it live, you will get the recording. I love seeing how the astrology shows up. And we had the full moon in Sagittarius on Thursday, May 23rd. And one of the things that was so interesting about this full moon was that Venus on her throne in Taurus was conjunct Jupiter and sextile Neptune in Pisces. And the big story was at the Cannes Film Festival, Kelly Rowland, who is an African-American woman who is a member of Destiny's Child, and I assume now she's acting, was walking up the red carpet, and this woman who is someone who guides people into the theater or what have you, they got into an altercation where there were clearly you could see that they were having very tense words. And this woman kept putting her hands on Kelly, and she got very aggressive with her. And Kelly Rowland got very upset and felt like it was potentially racial. And so Venus, Kelly Rowland, is this Venusian figure, a beautiful woman, a celebrity Jupiter, and a wealthy person, Venus and Jupiter in Taurus, wearing this beautiful dress, sextile Neptune in Pisces. Neptune rules film, as well as, Neptune in Pisces is like the movie industry. And at the same time, the Gemini sun was in a trine with Pluto in Aquarius. And the sun spotlights things, and Gemini rules the hands and the shoulders and the wrists and things like that. And Pluto is like power and control. And Aquarius is the crowd. So this woman was responsible for crowd control. She kept putting her hands on Kelly Rowland in an aggressive Plutonian way. And this got a lot of attention because of the full moon. If this had happened at a new moon, we probably wouldn't have noticed. And after that, there were two other instances when the woman was very aggressive with other women on the red carpet. And one was Mexican and the other was Asian. So there were some thoughts that it was a little strange. Why is she so aggressive only towards women of color? But anyway, we'll see. I'm shocked that she wasn't fired after the two times. And it was really interesting. The second woman had this beautiful dress, it was a work of art, and she was unfolding it, and there was a picture of Jesus on the train. And this woman wasn't even letting this woman get her train down so that she could show the dress, and started manhandling her. And Neptune, the dress had Jesus on it. You can think about Neptune rules spirituality. And, it has associations, as well as Jupiter has associations with religion. So that was interesting to see that come to light. The theme of this week is lucky breaks, and there are three big things I want you to think about as you navigate this week. The first is that Mercury enters the sign of Gemini tomorrow, Monday, June 3rd until June 17th. Mercury is the planet of communication and thought processes. And it's at home in Gemini and Virgo. So when a planet comes home, it can express its energy with ease. And so, can you think about how you can communicate clearly and concisely with Mercury in Gemini? Now, keep in mind, Mercury is the trickster, so we may have to do things twice. And there is this really playful energy. People who have Mercury in Gemini and strong Gemini energy can be wonderful communicators who can help us. You can think about how the sign of Gemini looks like two pillars, and they have the ability to bring the information from the heavens down to earth in clear, digestible formats that we can understand. This is a really quick transit, so use it well for if you need to write anything, any kind of presentation or article or things like that. If you need to have an important meeting, use this energy to maybe write down what you would like to say before you go into the conversation. I'm really interested to see what happened yesterday, because yesterday we had Jupiter trine Pluto and Mercury was sextile Neptune at the last anaretic degree. And there were elections in Mexico where it was thought that a female candidate will win. Well, the news is going to be very active on this day because Mercury rules communication. It's at home, and there's going to be talk, 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 talk. And did one of the women win, or was there something unexpected? With the energy coming up, I really am interested to see who wins the Mexican election. Mercury also rules transportation. The first aspect it will make is a trine to Pluto in Aquarius. Trines are smooth, easy flows of energy. Pluto unearths things. And then the next aspect is a conjunction with Jupiter in Gemini. And Jupiter rules long distance travel. So I wonder if things will be unearthed about long distance travel. I know Boeing has a report that is due to the Transportation Agency, I believe, or the FAA or something like that, where they are supposed to outline their plans to make airline travel safer. So there may be some big news on Monday, or secrets revealed, or things that come up about what is necessary, or the government could be giving instructions. So it'll be really interesting to see what is the big news over the next couple of days. Children, early education, documents, reporters, and the mail are also mercurial topics. So notice what you see and hear about these topics. The Birthdate Company makes amazing products, and I am a proud affiliate. I especially love the Birth Date book. It's a fully personalized, beautiful, and unique reading of your birth chart with over 70 pages of detailed horoscope analysis. It is such high quality. I absolutely love it. They also make amazing birth date candles. You can get it for yourself or as a gift for someone else. So check out the store and use my coupon code Celeste10 for a 10% discount. Go to bit.ly/3PW3NFM. You can find that in the link in the show notes. Enjoy. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that we're having a new moon in Gemini on Thursday at 16 degrees of Gemini. So new moons are times to set intentions, come to the workshop to go deeper, but in general, there is such a strong amount of Gemini energy. The sun, the moon, Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter, that's 5 planets. That's a huge stellium, are all in Gemini. And air communicates and connects, so it's a great time to get together with friends, socialize, have parties, give presentations, that sort of thing. but air scatters. And Gemini energy can be really, really nervous and high strung. So setting intentions to do what you can to calm your nervous energy is something that could be good for this energy. The new moon is conjunct Venus to the degree. So the sun, moon, and Venus are all at 16 degrees of Gemini. So there's going to be some emerging story about relationships, Venus, maybe about relationships with siblings. And there's going to be about relationships ending because the new moon is squaring Saturn. So for a lot of us, there'll be, coming clear about something about relationships. Saturn brings clarity. Now, it can also be about coldness. I don't know. There could be with Jupiter trine Pluto, there could be some, disturbing story, but it'll be positive in terms of people being freed from captivity. Now, maybe there's just some famous woman who was in jail and is let out of jail or something, but I'm getting the image of somebody freed, maybe even children from some kind of captivity with this. If you're going on vacation, just be prepared. There may be some delays with all this air energy. There may be places in the country where it's too windy for planes to take off. So just keep that in mind. Like giving yourself some extra time. How can you be patient when there's things that are somewhat unexpected coming up? The tarot card is the Eight of Swords, which I think of as a self-imposed prison. There's a woman and she's blindfolded. It looks like she's bound, but she's bound by scarves on her wrist, and she could just lift her hands up and they will fall away. So think about how you're putting yourself in a self-imposed prison. Like, is it like with your thoughts, just assuming things that can go wrong? And really, there's an opportunity to calm yourself down, look at things a different way. If there's some kind of relationship where you are not sure about what's going on, there may be some clarity with this. The Sabian symbol is the head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker. So can you make wise decisions? Can you honor the journey you've come through over time and be proud of how over time you've started making better decisions as you've been adulting? There's also the imagery of lost innocence with this. The charitable symbol is a broken pitcher lying upon the ground with spilled fruit around it. The degree of impotence. It shows a loss of power during a lifetime, also potentially a loss of faculties. So it'll be interesting if we find out someone famous is something about like them having Alzheimer's or something with I'm getting that with Venus in Gemini, square Saturn and Pisces. Maybe that's something that will make some kind of news. Last week, both of the Sabian symbols were about planes. And there were all these stories about planes in the news having all these problems. One of which was a plane going from Jamaica somewhere, and the people were told to prepare for a water landing. And this was the day, either the day of or maybe the day before, Mercury in Taurus. So put on your life vest, an announcement, Mercury, about Taurus putting on a piece of clothing. Taurus is an earth sign ruled by Venus, and it has associations with fashion. Sextile Saturn in Pisces, like Saturn, we've got a big problem in Pisces, water. So prepare for a water landing. So I thought that was a really interesting instance of how the astrology showed up. Thankfully, they were able to land safely and no one was injured. But anyway, that was one of the big stories. There was a couple others. I mean, it's getting very unnerving about all the problems we're seeing with planes in terms of weather. Oh, in Brazil, where they're having horrific winds and storms, there was a plane that was like pushed away just by the wind from I think it was Brazil, from the terminal. Like the plane, like an 800,000 pound plane was pushed by the wind. So that was very shocking to see. Yeah. And now Jupiter's in Gemini, an air sign. So is Pluto. So the wind is a big story. The moon phase family for this new moon is the sun and the moon are both at 16 Gemini on June 6th. The first quarter moon of this phase, 9 months later, it's a lunar gestational cycle. So you can think about how it takes 9 months to grow a baby. So if you have some long-term intentions, like specifically about a writing project, or you want to start journaling or something like that, you can put March 6th of 2025 to check in with or have a goal of something to achieve by then. Because then the sun will be in Pisces, the moon in Gemini, both at 16 degrees. This is March 6th, 2025. The full moon, 9 months after that, the sun is in Sag, the moon in Gemini, both at 13 degrees, where kind of all is illuminated. This is December 4th, 2025, and the last quarter moon of this phase. The sun in Virgo, the moon in Gemini, both at 11 degrees, September 4th, 2026. So if you're working on something long-term, like say a book or something like that, or I don't know, starting a business with a sibling, Gemini rules siblings, you can put that, 27-month cycle as goalposts of like, what do you want to achieve by each of these points? The last thing I want to make you aware of is that Mars enters the sign of Taurus on Saturday, June 8th until July 20th. Now, this is the sign of Mars's detriment. So Mars doesn't like to be in this sign. Mars is the planet of action. It strives, it achieves. And this is the sign of its detriment, where it's like an earth sign that's stubborn and slow. So Mars wants to move fast, and Taurus is slow and stubborn and can be kind of lazy. So in pleasure seeking, Mars just wants to get things done. So Mars in Taurus can be someone who's greedy. This is shadow energy. There can be like some very materialistic or doesn't get anything done because they're like pleasure seeking. Just think about the bull or the cows chomping on the grass. Now Mars rules conflict. So just be aware. It's like when it first goes in, it takes a while to get used to the energy. So be aware of trying not to, argue over stupid stuff. Yeah, if you can. Using this energy well, there can be a concentration and slowly and deliberately trying to take small steps like the Knight of Pentacles, one foot in front of the other to get what you need to get done. Mars in Taurus can be an amazing craftsperson or like a barbecuer. Yeah. If you are embarking on a new journey, experiencing a major life event, feeling stuck, trying to make a difficult decision, or just looking to make positive changes, astrology can provide life-changing insights. There are several ways to work with me. You can come for a 30, 60, or 90-minute astrology consultation depending on your needs. Ask me a burning question and I'll record a video for you. Engage in longer-term cosmic success coaching where we work together on a 3-month basis to help you overcome blocks, improve your life satisfaction, build better relationships, accomplish your career goals, and understand yourself better using the tool of astrology. Or mystic mentoring if you're an aspiring astrologer and want help with chart analysis techniques. Go to astrologybyceleste.com to check out my offerings. If you have any questions, you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com. On Sunday, the word of the day is amen. So the song Take Me to Church by Hoosier was playing in my head as I was starting to write this. Yeah, that's a really beautiful song, but that video is very in line with the energy and while I'm recording this. Anyway, the moon meets Chiron and then Mars in Aries. So there is opportunity for healing, but there's also opportunity for conflict with this energy. And on this day, Jupiter in Gemini makes a trine with Pluto in Aquarius. They're both air signs. Pluto unearths things. It's power dynamics. It humbles. It eliminates. I wonder if this could be about maybe Sean Puff Daddy getting arrested on the day Mars and Chiron met on a world point in Aries. It came out that a grand jury is being impaneled to review what went on with him. He's a rap mogul who's incredibly violent and abusive, and it's all coming out. His karma is come due. And apparently when the police raided his compound, they found videotapes, and we found this out the day Mars Chiron, and as Mercury was coming to meet Uranus. So Mercury rules things like recording devices, Uranus shocking information about Mars Chiron, a violent and abusive person. And Jupiter rules celebrities. So there could be, with this Jupiter trine Pluto, there could be like celebrities exposed. Jupiter also rules religious figures. I got with the Amen, I got maybe a religious figure will be exposed for doing something. And with Mercury in Taurus, sextile Neptune and Pisces, both at that 29th anaretic degree, this could just be like a bad storm where it's incredibly windy. Mercury in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces could be like some kind of landslide energy. Yeah, the last degree is a degree of crisis and decay. Now, what can happen is there can be a miscommunication that blows up into this kind of explosive power struggle. Jupiter just makes everything bigger, and it does not like to be in Gemini. And with that connection with Pluto, Mercury sextile Neptune. So one person misunderstands what the other person says. And with the moon in Aries, you just get mad rather than asking for clarity. So rather than just going off on something, ask for clarity. You may have misheard. This could also be with Mercury sextile Neptune, could be an apology after going off on someone. So there could be like making up energy. Now, there's the balsamic moon at 28 degrees of Aries. This is the last phase of the moon cycle where the moon is losing the last of her light. I got someone in a makeup chair has a recording device that picks up some kind of fight with a Jupiterian figure. And the moon enters Taurus at 10:55 p.m. Pacific time. So so that could be somebody sitting in a makeup chair, getting done. Although, why would you be in a makeup chair that late? And if you were really upset earlier in the day with the Aries moon, you can be like calm down or looking to find a sense of security with this energy. Anyway, I got thoughts about Bennifer, like maybe, something coming out about Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. There's rumors that they're headed for a split, which is very sad. On Monday, the word of the day is QUIP. And I don't know why I put down toothbrush. So maybe like somebody's using a toothbrush as a recording device. I don't know. Gemini season, Mercury in Gemini. Mercury is the trickster. And this can be about when Mercury goes into Gemini, the first thing it does is it trines Pluto on this day at 1 degrees of each of the signs. And that could be someone surreptitiously recording someone. And the moon is square, and Taurus is square Pluto. So again, this can be like this conspiracy energy or this desire to trap someone with Pluto. The sun is trine the north node in Aries, both at 13 degrees. So the sun in Gemini, the north node in Aries. Venus in Gemini and north node in Aries are also in a trine. Trines are smooth, easy flowing energy. Now, to use this well, you could be talking, run into the CEO of your company, say you work for a company, in the hallway, and start up a conversation, say something witty, and this could be something that gives you a lucky break, which is the title of this episode, sometimes I forget to tell you why the titles are the title, but there's always a meaning to why the titles are the title. Anyway, yeah. Now there could also be some kind of health news on this day. We'll see. But yeah, you just say the right thing and you catch the notice of someone in a higher position in your company, or like a client you want to meet if you have your own business or something, or someone sees you. And yeah, you can be off to the races with some very positive thing potentially. On Tuesday, the word of the day is unmasked. And on this day, Mercury meets Jupiter at 2 degrees of Gemini. So it's really interesting following Mercury's path. So Mercury is trine Neptune at that last anaretic degree, where we also have the moon in Aries and all of that. I also thought that could be like a volcano kind of energy with Jupiter trine Pluto. And in Iceland, there have been volcanoes erupting since December. So we'll see if there's some kind of like big event with that energy. And then Mercury carries that Neptunian energy into the sign of Gemini. Monday, there's probably going to be a lot of news, a lot of talk about something that potentially went on during the weekend. And then Mercury meets Pluto and then Jupiter. So this could be great energy to close a deal. And it may be a deal that's maybe doesn't give you that much money, because Jupiter's in Gemini, which is the sign of his detriment. And maybe it looks shaky, like maybe it wasn't happening, but then Mercury comes in and the deal is done. Now Jupiter rules luck. So there's something good about the deal. This could be a time where you have conversation about travel, or mentally decide. Mercury rules our mental processes, to decide to take a trip. Now, I record this early, so if the Trump trial hasn't gotten a verdict yet, maybe this will be the day where there is a verdict. Yeah, and you can think about Mercury conjunct Jupiter, right timing, positive, and having a positive and optimistic outlook. So this week can be like an amazing, lucky, bountiful week for some people. Yes, it could be. And this is the day Venus, it goes Cazimi. So Venus meets the sun at 14 degrees of Gemini. And there's an energy of rebirth. When any planet meets the sun, like old stories are burned off. So if you've been having trouble with a relationship, one thing can be like you really get some clarity about how you want to move forward. So, but be mindful not to start fights around this time, because it could be like the relationship is over. Like Gemini can get really bored and be like, I'm done. I've had enough. On Wednesday, the word of the day is unnerved. People will be unnerved about how something should have failed was a success, is what I wrote down for this. So we'll see what happens with this energy. The moon will enter the sign of Gemini at 1:35 a.m. Pacific time, and then meets Jupiter and then Mercury. There could be a lot of really nervous energy coming up on Thursday, where the word of the day is adulting. And we have that new moon at 5:37 a.m. Pacific time. And yeah, you can come to the workshop if you want to dive deeper. Sorry, this podcast is getting pretty fast and pretty brief because it's late and I am tired. Yes, I am. I will dissect what happened next week if there's some things that are really key about how this energy showed up. On Friday, the word of the day is quietly. I think this is a day where people are going to be making dumps about relationships ending, potentially celebrities. And I wonder because the moon goes into Cancer at 5:40 a.m. Pacific time, water signs are mute. And it's, the weekend. It's been a really busy news week, probably the Trump trial. So the news is talking all about that. I cannot wait till this thing is over. As I said, I'm not making a prediction. First thing I thought was hung jury when I looked at the trial chart. Now, Trump is having a new moon on his Uranus. Uranus rules reversals, and in Gemini, it can be like he could be celebrating, oh, I'm free. Maybe he gets the lucky break or the prosecution. We'll see what happens. I was thinking, astrologically, he's got some good transits going on where he may get off. But with Uranus, you never know. And Mercury's the trickster. So Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, maybe they announced they're splitting on this Friday and like do it quietly. Or it could be some other celebrities. And why I say them, they've been in the news about the potential for there being trouble, but they have a Venus-Saturn conjunction, which is why they can't quit each other at 18 degrees of Gemini. So Jennifer's Venus is conjunct Ben's Saturn to the degree. And Saturn is the glue that can hold Venus relationships together. The problem is Saturn's in the sky and in Pisces squaring that. So squares are tension and tests. And we'll see. Maybe they'll work it out. They'll stay together. But this is, if they do split, it's a story about Saturn, like where the tests are just too much. Yeah. And the reason I'm saying it's this day is because on Saturday, the word of the day is THUD. And this is the day Venus in Gemini is square Saturn and Pisces at 19 degrees of each of the signs. And so if you have anything around 19 immutable signs, it could be like Venus rules resources. You could decide to end, Saturn ends thing. You could decide to end spending money on something, but there could be like trouble in paradise with this energy. Yeah, it could be difficult. And Mars enters Taurus, and then people can get really stuck into their positions on what they, on their points. Yeah, and on Sunday, the Sun is squaring Saturn and Mars is squaring Pluto. As soon as Mars goes into Taurus, it starts to square Pluto. So there's going to be some really like unpleasant news. I wonder if it's just going to be what's going on with there's terrible wars and violence around the world, in Israel and Ukraine and Haiti and places in Africa. I mean, all over. So there's a lot of stuff where this could be, but I got like a bomb exploding, like pipe bombs could be something that's coming with Mars squaring Pluto, or maybe this is about Israel destroying the tunnels in Gaza. So we'll see. But in general, I think this week, some people can get some lucky breaks, but Venus square Saturn can be a pinch for others. It can be somewhat dicey. Well, someone's Venus square Saturn can be someone else's lucky break. So we'll see what happens. I think the key for this week is just doing what you can to calm nervous energy, get together with people who you can have some fun and some laughs with, set your intentions about what you want to grow in your life, and come to the New Moon Workshop or get the recording. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.